Hey, thanks for watching. Today we're going to do a video on the traditional markets, something we haven't done in a while, what we think about the global economy and what's happening and where we see all markets going. This is not financial advice. I'm just a guy in my basement trying to figure out what I'm doing with my money, and these are just my thoughts. Don't follow me. I'm a fucking stoner in my basement, bro. If you follow my advice, you're an idiot. Let's get right into it. This is the S&P 500 right here. This is the trend line that we had kind of right before COVID, and this is COVID right here, the COVID dip. We've bounced off of this bottom trend line several times. This is like the 2018 little bit of a real estate crash, market crash we had in 2017, 2018 there. Bounced right off this trend line. 2015, bounced right off this trend line. Let's actually go further back. This was the crash of 2008. Maybe we should draw a new line. Should we draw a new line? We kind of bounced here and here. These are interesting points on the map. We're all the way up here. We're way high. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm drawing with crayons. Like, seriously, don't take my advice, but it looks like we've got much further to fall. Let's think about where the news is today. Russia's at war. There's a whole global economy issue, supply issue. China's getting turned on and off with supply. There's a whole chicken flu thing going on. There's oil shortages at this point in time. The government has been literally inflating our money. The cost of everything has 10x'd. I go to the grocery store and I can now only buy with $200 less than a week's worth of food. I used to get like 2 weeks worth of food for $200. Gasoline is almost $5 a gallon in most places. I feel a recession coming. And, you know, the S&P 500 has barely started that dip. This kind of just feels like a dead cat bounce here. I recommend that I'm going to start paying off my debt. I'm going to start paying off debt and piling cash. I just want to stack cash. I don't think this is the bottom. I think maybe buying some real estate here that cash flows, maybe buying some things that dividend and cash flow are possible off the stock market. But my idea right now is pay off debt and stack cash until we confirm a bottom. Is this it right here on this line? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we got a long way to go. I think interest rates have a long way to go higher, and I think that's going to push down people's appetite and the multiples they're willing to spend on all these stocks. And I think we go a lot lower and definitely test these bottom two trend lines down here potentially. I'm not really pulling the trigger on buying anything, but I'm definitely sizing up certain things, stacking cash and paying off debt. And we can see the same over here with the NASDAQ. Let's look at the QQQ. We can see the same thing over here with the QQQ, and it's already started to fall below this line ahead of the S&P 500 and is headed down continuously. All these growth stocks were being bought at crazy multiples and have plenty of room to come down. So I'm not putting any money to work into any of these. I'm just saving it up. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And I actually think Bitcoin is performing pretty well comparative to regular markets. But you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and you can also see there's not really much support down here once we break this level. It looks like, you know, we go back to test Ethereum 350 and Bitcoin might go back and test to 20,000 for sure, and potentially even come down and test like 10,000 again. Very, very interesting and particular. So I don't know. I'm not really a buyer of anything in here at this current time. And you see the rest of all these, even down the risk curve further, assets just really getting nuked at this time, and we could see a recession. So I think piling cash is very important here when I look at all this stuff, and it makes me want to purchase things that cash flow. That's why we're starting this real estate fund and blending that with our cryptocurrency portfolio. I want things that generate cash flow and can sustain us through a global bear market, not just a crypto bear market. I want to know that we can buy more. I want to know that the price we buy at doesn't matter because they cash flow. I think the same about the stock market. If you don't have the money to just buy a house, I think it's important to think the same about the stock market. One of my favorites I'm eyeballing right now is an ETF called SPHD. Performed extremely well off the bottom of COVID, pays a dividend monthly, which is very important to me right now, pays a monthly dividend, and it's yielding 3.62% a year. That's something that I could get into. Every share is only $47 right now. There's some other ones that I've been really interested in. BXMX right here. Quarterly frequency, but pays 7% yield, and it's a buy right options overwrite fund. They write call options against the S&P 500 to generate that extra revenue. Super interested in that. What's another one that I was super interested in? Of course, the DJX getting super boomer if you want to do that. QYLD. This is one of my favorites. This is the NASDAQ, and it is again an overwrite, a cover overwrite fund where they write call options against the NASDAQ. Well, guess what? If we're in a bear market, that's free fucking money while you have exposure to all those growth stocks you want. You can buy shares of this for $18.50. It's paying 13.28% yield right now on a monthly dividend frequency. You are buying massive cash flow here. Forget the fucking price. Forget the fucking price you buy it at. This doesn't even fucking matter. You're buying this. You're buying this dividend and this dividend frequency. For every $18.55, you get a check for 20 cents a month, exposure to the NASDAQ, writing call options against it. These cash flow ideas are what I'm looking at right now like a boomer in real estate.